Hi, this is Krista at the Secret Yarnery. Welcome to Crochet Podcast, episode 159. Thanks for inviting me over. I have a heap of things to share with you today, but before we get started, I'm gonna go grab a coffee. Today's coffee is from Deborah Arrington. Thank you so much, Deborah. I really appreciate it. She said, Krista, you are the bomb diggity. Love everything about your channel. Just finished the Drunken Granny 2.0 from my mom. Keep making us smile. Thank you so much, Deborah. And I love your name. Like, how classy is that, Deborah? Who are you, Deborah? I love it. So thank you so much for the coffee. And if you want to shout out in an upcoming video, consider buying me a coffee. News of the week, what's been going on in the yarnery. Kids are all back at school, which I love. You do not know how much time I have in the day. I feel like I was just so used to having like 3 hours and not getting anything done. Now I have like 5 hours and I can actually get things done. Plus organize something, clean something, cook. It's so good. So I'm really enjoying that. It's fantastic. They're done school in like a month. So I only have a few more weeks to enjoy it, but I'm making the most of it. Plus, the weather has been cooling off. Sometimes it has been down to like 22 degrees here in the yarnery, which is like cold for us, but I'm loving on it. It means I can get into blankets and sweaters and all the great stuff, especially since all of that ice yarn came. I have just been listening to that yarn, calling me, being like, please hook on me today. So I have been making the most of it. Obviously that sweater, I showed you that last time. I've been getting a lot of use out of it. That was the first yarn I used from my last ice yarn haul. It is Puzzle Wool Chunky. Highly recommend. It's about $8 for 200 grams delivered to your door in the US. Oh, it's so good. It's like so good. 12 millimeter hook. Love it. Can't say enough of it. Also had another one of those outdoors called Bargain Box. I think I told you about that too. Made some boot cuffs for it. I don't think I showed you my boot cuffs. These, I think I showed them on a live chat or on a Friday or something like that when I was just finishing them. But they match the sweater. No, they don't match the sweater. They match my cup cozy. So my cup cozy, the stitch is the Sober Granny stitch. And I thought it looks so cute for a boot topper. So these are just my good old clodhopper rubber boots from Canada. Mark's Work Warehouse, right? I love it. So these are my favorite boots, and I made these cute little boot toppers for it. The problem, and then I wore them out the next morning. The problem is they started slipping down. So I ended up getting string. Look at that. I got string from that amazing shop where I buy all my wood stuff from. I'm sure I could just point anywhere, and you'll be like, oh yeah, all the wood stuff. So she was like, oh, do you want, I was actually picked up a piece of straw from the ground, and she's like, I have string. I'm like, okay, thank you. So I just had to cinch it up. So as easy and fast as I made those, not a tutorial, because I think we have to do a little drawstring action at the top, which would be so cute, so that you can customize it. Because you know, crochet is tight in the beginning and then it stretches out. I could also like double it so it's like folded down on the inside. But I also kind of want to do like a cuff like that, like a drawstring cuff. So you can just kind of cover the top of the boot and it would stay more on the boot instead of like coming off when you take your foot out. So I did these to match that, and I rocked the whole outfit to our outdoor market. Didn't take any pictures. You'll forgive me. But it was so fun. So I loved it, and those, they worked, but they didn't work, but they worked, but they didn't work. I made them work, and they looked great. Definite design flaw in those, so that is going back to the drawing board next time I have an event where I get to wear rubber boots. The other sweater I have been rocking is my, what is it, Granny Flower? I don't know what it is. Flower Granny Square sweater? I don't know. But I love on it. This is my house coat. I'll just show you real quick. It doesn't go with my dress, don't get me wrong, but it goes great with PJs. So let me show you. Right? So this is what I wear in the mornings. Look, it covers your tush and everything. You're just going a little cocoon. You're like, do, do, do. And you go around, make your coffee, your tea, whatever you need to do in the morning. So this has been getting a lot of use again. I will link the pattern down below. And the name of it on the screen. I'm drawing a blank. I just call it like my sweater. Now, back to the ice yarn haul. Another yarn that has been calling my name is all of that glorious Cakes DK that we had, which I was like, oh my gosh, I totally want to use it. And the colorway change is so great to do something in the round, either in like a square in the round or a round in the round, but something in the round. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have the perfect project for it. So full breaks, back up, years and years and years and years ago, I made the round granny square blanket. Now, if you were watching the live chat last week, you would have seen us, or we talked about it, or a couple live chats ago, depending on when this gets uploaded. But this is my round granny square blanket, and it works out great for me, but I think in the editing of telling you what to do, somewhere around row 8 or row 11, I say do an increase row, and I just assume that you care the same amount as I care, which is like, it's going to be fine. Like, I'm a pretty relaxed crocheter. Like, I don't stress out. I don't count. Like, it's going to work out. It's going to be perfectly flat, but just relax about it. But I know some people are, I know that stresses some people out. So I do really honestly try to have all of my tutorials and patterns step by step to the end so that I don't leave you panicking, thinking yours isn't going to work out. Problem with this one, I think would think it was the problem was in editing, but even when I go and look at mine, like that's how mine ended up. So I can't even say like, oops, it's wrong. Mine is like that. So I might have made a mistake somewhere else, who knows? But the gist of it is, I say go do an increase round, and then depending on your pattern, your row, like what row you're on, how big your blanket is already, you could end in an increase into the last stitch or into the last space, or you could end without an increase, and I don't differentiate if you do or you don't. If in doubt, always do an increase. However, it stresses a lot of people out, and it's a popular video, so like, it needs to be redone, but I don't even know. Well, it just needs to be redone. Basically, long and short of it. Another thing I'm not crazy about, well, let me show you the next one I did. I did 2 of those, by the way. Yeah, I did. Now, I started to redo it again so I could write the pattern, which I'm going to do. I'm going to write the pattern out like row by row so that if you have the pattern, you're going to know what to do for the end of each round as we like step up and everything. While I was working on it, I kept forgetting to do the chain 1 in between all the spaces. So this has like 3 double crochet chain 1 like all the time, everywhere. But see how kind of like holy it is? Like quite. It's quite lacy. And I don't chain 1 in between anything anymore because I'm not like, I don't really want the big spaces. So I'm redoing it without putting the chain 1 in between. So the chain 1 is only for increases. And if it's just a regular stitch, there's no chain 1 in between anything. So I was working on this, and then I just got like, not defeated. And this yarn I've had for a long time. This is like from my old house. So I've had it forever. And I'm like, I even got this before my last ice yarn haul. But I was working on it. And then I kind of got distracted, tired of it. I didn't feel like doing it. And I think I know why. Because the colors in the center of that cake, you can see how blah they are. This is the colors of the cake. That is so cute. This is so upbeat war. Like, ugh. So I really should have paid attention to what the center of the cake was when I started instead of being like, oh my gosh, I love all those colors. Because you gotta love all those colors. They're great. This, non-inspirational. So I just kind of put it aside. Then ice yarn comes. I got a whole bunch of Cakes DK because the colorways were just amazing this time of year. It was like fantastic. Got a whole bunch of them, 2 packs of each, so 4 cakes of each colorway that I fell in love with, and I was like, that's what I should do. It's probably the color that I didn't really... Plus new yarn, right? Do you want to use your old yarn? You want to use new yarn? You want to use new yarn. So I picked a colorway, and let me spin you around. Boop. Ah, I made that. I'm not even joking. Let me get it for you. Can you see it? So number 1, love it. Number 2, no chain ones. Is so great. Number 3, I did it in a spiral. I'm not going to step up and join. I'm like, that's how you do a 2.0. You totally fix the pattern. Move you back over. So this beauty, I love it. It took me a while. I'm like, it should be done in a couple days, right? It's a blanket. It's not even that big. It's 4 feet across. Oh, and I finished. I have more yarn left, but I wanted to stop on that purple round because I think it goes light in the center, and then I wanted it to end on a dark. If I was gonna let the yarn be the yarn, it would have ended on that cantaloupe, and I don't think it would have framed the blanket as nicely. So yes, I filmed all of it, all 60 rows. I show you how to color control your cake so that row after row, or when you join cake after cake, all your colors line up. We do invisible join. We do a step down. Let me show you the step down. Because I know some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't do a spiral. It won't be a circle. Yes, it's a circle. Trust me, it's a gorgeous circle. Where are you at? Can't even find it. Hello? Hello, step up. Where are you? Or step down. Okay, there we are. See, that was even hard for me to find. So that is where we kind of taper it down. It's perfect. So this is already written pattern. Also took me days on end. Oh my gosh. And to crochet, it was taking me so long. Like 2 weeks. I worked on it for 2 weeks, which I don't think I should work on a blanket for 2 weeks. Mind you, I don't crochet every day, but I still think I don't do 2-week projects. It took me 2 weeks. So what the problem is, guess what the problem is? 2 kilometers of yarn. 2 kilometers of yarn. When I was writing the pattern today, I was like, oh, that's why. That's why. 2 kilometers. That is a lot of yarn. So tutorials coming out, patterns already out. I'll link it down below. You can always use a thicker yarn. You do not have to use Cakes DK. You could use worsted weight. You could use chunky. The pattern will be the same. I love the colors. I love the blanket. I wish I would have made it a bit bigger, but I needed to end on that purple. What do you think? Do you think I needed to end on the purple? Oops, where can I show you? That way, right? I think I needed to end on the purple. Anyway, food for thought. All that is coming out. Oh, this is a pretty good thumbnail. Remind me. I don't know how many minutes in that is. 17 minutes. Okay, get a thumbnail from around here. Oh, wait, let's put some other ones up. Oh, I can show you the difference between them. I don't even like holding this one anymore. That's what I do for thumbnails. Dumb, right? All right, so this is the old one. Big, yucky holes. This is the new one. Cute, right? Anyway, I love it. Totally worth it. This is everything. Also got me thinking we should make a vest out of like a cottony kind of yarn, like a drapey cottony yarn. Or like a chunkier, cottony kind of yarn. You know, so it just kind of like covers the back of your outfit. Be really cute. So thinking about something like that. loving on it, but got this done. And I'm so glad because that was a lot of filming. A lot of filming and a lot of pattern writing. So I'm really glad it's done. It's the cutest thing, right? Anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. So now what I want to make is either a vest, like a circle vest, an easy, not 2 kilometers of yarn circle vest, an easy circle vest, and or flowers. You know, sometimes you're like adulting, like feeding your kids, paying the bills, and then you're like, can I just make some flowers? I want to make flowers. I want to make flowers, right? Get some flower colors of yarn, pop on a podcast or a show, sit down and crochet some flowers. No pattern, like literally make up a new flower. I think it would be so fun to do. So, oh, wait, hold on. Because I didn't want to do that last year because I was doing Bloomscape Cal. Remember that? And it was so much pressure coming up with a brand new flower every month and a brand new granny square. And like, it was like so much pressure. But I kind of miss it. So I'm not saying crochet along. Nope. But I would really like to make a new flower. I'd also like to wear a little vest like that. So which would you prefer? If I could put a poll right here, I'd put a poll right here. Y'all tell me in the comments. Let me just check anything else. I made notes for us. I wrote down podcast 140 at the top. That's hilarious. Nope. Well, I guess that's it. I did everything. So now I'm off to go have lunch with my yarn snobby friend. How fun is that? I haven't seen her in months. So we try to have lunch. We would try to go for lunch once a week. We have a spot. They have a special menu. So you get like a 3-course meal for like $10. Another 700. Nope. 700 shillings. You get a decent glass of wine. So we're like, okay, like $15 and you're all in. It's pretty great. So we have our little spot. We try to go. Haven't seen her. Well, I think we've gone for lunch like twice this year. So I really got to step it up. Oh my gosh, speaking of this year. Now, you know how January was like illegal? Like it shouldn't have happened. It should have been December. And then we could have started January somewhere around like April. Do you know what I mean? Like January was just too quick, too fast, happened too quick. Wasn't ready for it. Like I did not consent to January. Anyway, December, husband super sweet, got me a new phone for Christmas. I put my banking apps on it. Like yesterday. It took me, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like 4 months. And then I had to count it out. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's mid-June. It took me over 6 months to like transfer the banking apps. So I have my phone, and then I'm like, oh, if I have to do any banking, I'm like, oh, get the old phone. Bring 2 phones with you if you have to do any banking or payments when you're out and about. Crazy. 6.5 months to transfer 2 little baby apps onto my phone. Yeah, that's not good. Anyway, I hope you're all having a super great day. I cannot wait for you to try this new pattern with me. And let me know what you're hooking on in the comments. Stay hooked. Pressed record. That's a step in the right direction. Okay, now the podcast. I think it's 140. I gotta check. Should I check? Oh my gosh. What if it's not 140? I'll have to say a whole bunch. I'll have to say a whole bunch of names of numbers. Where are you at? I know I did. What? 157? I guess it's a good thing I checked. 157. Okay, so I'm 159. Okay. Thank goodness I was off. Okay. 159. Okay. Today's coffee is brought to us. Nope. And if you want to shout out, in an upcoming podcast. So now I am off to go. What am I going to do? Yeah, baby. I am so hungry. Oh my gosh, what time is it? I still have time. Okay, I thought I was going to be late. I'm probably talking too fast. Thanks for the coffee. Love it. No, don't say links down below. Okay. Stay hooked. Do I have sound? Oh my gosh, I even have sound.